Yo, what's up guys? As usual, it's your boy Lahima here, and today we're going to be reviewing the new plugin by Baby Audio called Spaced Out. And just for the sake of transparency, they sent me the plugin for review, but this video is not sponsored by them. I'm just reviewing it because I actually just like the plugin. Before we go and hop in, if you haven't already, go to make sure to slide in the Discord. The link is going to be in the description as well as pinned in the comments down below. We're currently doing a subscriber collab where I give you guys a sample, which is going to be in the Discord, and then you guys send me a sample back, and then I make a track out of it. So if you want to be a part of that, join the collab and join the gang, make sure to slide in the Discord because the deadline is December 31st. So go ahead and slide in, and with that being said, let's go ahead and hop in. So just off the bat, I love the look of this plugin. It gives me like kind of a very clean outer space sort of vibe to it, which I definitely think fits the theme of this plugin very well. But this plugin is essentially divided into three modules. So we have a reverb module, which is on the right side. On the left side, we have a delay module, which has a little sequencer, which is a core function or feature of this plugin. And then in the middle, we have the global control unit, which I would say, which essentially controls the left and right side together, which essentially acts as the wet and dry. It also has a little duck feature as well, which will duck the two effects as the dry signal is playing. And then lastly, we have a sync function that will sync the ducking to the BPM of your song, and a liftoff feature, which acts as a compressor. So it compresses the delay signal and the reverb signal together and then sends it to the output. So let's start off by looking at the reverb side. So for the reverb module, we have a couple different parameters that we can mess with. We have a pre-delay, which is pretty standard with all reverb modules. A Stardust unit, which controls, from my understanding, it's like it adds a shimmer reverb into the reverb. We have mellow, which is just a normal dampener, so it's a simple high-low pass filter. So we can actually add in more high end, make it a lot more bright of a reverb, turn it up. And then I can make it a lot more darker by just kind of killing on the high end. Then lastly, we have cleanup, which from my understanding adds a altered version of the original signal into the original dry signal into the reverb algorithm to clean it up somehow. The manual is very vague about it, so I really don't have a good understanding of what it does. And then we have width, which will give you a good big stereo image. And that's one thing I love about this reverb. It has a very big stereo image to it. So it's very useful. Or you can make it completely mono if you're doing something like, if you're using this with a vocal or something, that's very useful. And that lastly, second to lastly, we have this XY joystick coordinate system, which essentially works as not only the decay, but the type of modulation that's used for the reverb algorithm. And then at the top, we have the different spaces available. So we can use a kind of a very small space with the long decay tail and a lot of modulation going on. Or maybe we simply just want just a lot of modulation, not a lot of decay. So the Y-axis is the modulation, while the right being just the decay used. So you can see we have a very long tail. So you pull it back some. And all the modulations have a different characteristic to them. So here's the alien one. This one has a lot of kind of almost like a chorus effect to my ear at least. And the different spaces as well. We have kind of a medium space, super huge outer space one, and then vacant, which is pretty dry sounding to me. It's a very, very small space. And we can mess with the Stardust to give some more shimmer, some more high end in there. Darken it up a bit and throw some decay in there. Maybe even widen up a little bit. And then just lower the wet dry. And already we're getting a really nice sound from this effect. So next up, let's look at the delay module. So here's my favorite part of the plugin personally, which is the delays. The delays and things are crazy. You can get tons of crazy effects for them, especially for vocals. You can bust it in and then just get a whole different type of delay tail with it. But essentially what we have is a high-low pass filter. Then we have a reverse button, which will basically take the reverb tails and just reverse them like this. So boost it up a little bit. So as you can hear, all the reverb, all the delay tails are reversed. And then take it off. And they're more traditional, non-reversed. Then we have this kind of texture macro thing where essentially you can choose what type of delay tail that you want. So they have hazy, Lo-fi, clean, pretty self-explanatory for that one. Wonky tape. So wonky tape, I'm assuming, acts kind of like a pitch modulation on the delay. Hazy is probably more of like a low pass or high pass one. And then lo-fi is probably bit crushed. And as I expect, it's very bit crushed. Then we have dimension, which will widen the reverb tails, or I'm sorry, delay tails. So you get a kind of a very wide, kind of easy to use, especially as well, delay tails. And then intensity, which is the feedback, and sustain. And then up here, we can also choose the type of, essentially the timing of the reverb or delay tails. So we can have 2 times the speed of the BPM, a dotted or a triplet. And then we have a little sequencer up here so we can choose kind of how the delay tails act. So I'm going to randomize it, and you're going to see we're going to get some really cool, just different types of delay tails. Push down a little bit, make it duck a little bit as well. And throw it on wonky tape. Wonky tape is personally my favorite one. You get tons of just use out of this thing. And then lastly, there's the middle module. So the middle module essentially controls the wet and dry between the reverb side and the delay side. So currently I have everything switched on the delay side. As you can hear, it's just delays, but as I move it more to the center, we get more of the reverb coming in, or solely the reverb. So I'm going to kind of have a 50-50 split between them. And push it down a little bit. Yeah, there's good. And then we have a little lift off knob, which essentially works as a compressor. So it compresses the delay and the reverb together and then sends it to the output. And there's a ducker function as well, which will duck the reverb and delay until after the input is done. And then this little sync knob syncs it to the BPM of your track, which is really useful. I find myself very commonly using sidechain compression to get the same effect, but having it in a plugin is very useful as well. So next, I want to show you guys a couple ways that I use this plugin in my own tracks. So here's a little snippet I've been working on. I'm going to be dropping pretty soon, probably later this month. And yeah, I use spaced out all over this thing. So to start off with, I have this sort of arpeggiator thing that you've been actually hearing before. And it just has like an LFO on the wavetable position, and I'm just modulating it. And then I have spaced out on it, which is just adding some reverb and some delay, and to give it kind of a little bit of texture as well. And I have it kind of split 30-70. So 30% delay, 70% reverb, or vice versa, apologize. And add a little bit of shimmer, tightens it up real quick. And then what I ended up doing was actually taking that sound and reversing it, along with kind of a whole bunch of other stuff to kind of get these crazy reverse sounds. Pitching it up an octave, I believe, yep. And this is all just from spaced out, which is why I love it. It makes really cool generator effects really quickly. And then along with that, I have some kind of chords going. So all together it sounds like this. So as you can see, it gives a lot of space and kind of, just ambience to a song and different instruments when used kind of effectively. So it's also really useful in vocals as well. So actually in this song, I have a little harmony section that sounds like this. Geekin', I'm chilling for the weekend. It's you who always got me geeking. I just wanted you to stay. And yeah, there's actually a little high-pitched vocal in this section that has spaced out on it, which is adding a ton of reverb. It's super wide, and I've just kind of cut off a lot of the high end, and with a little bit of pre-delay, just kind of make sure everything kind of comes through. And then just a little bit of cleanup, and it really add a lot of space to the sound. So here's with it. It's a huge tail to it. And just taking it off, you see all of a sudden it loses that sense of space that it has. And yeah, and then actually with everything together, it kind of sounds like this. Weekend, I'm chilling for the weekend. It's you who always got me geeking. I just wanted you to say, weekend, freaking, blinking, run up till you can't get enough. Run up too fast, moving too fast. All for myself, bitch, don't do that. Geeking, bitch, don't do that. Geeking, bitch, you got me geeking. I'm chilling for the weekend. It's you who always got me geeking. I just wanted you to say, bitch, don't. Come on, am I the one to blame? Come on, redirect your aim. Remember when you used to call me out? What the fuck was that about? I shouldn't have called you out. Remember, we are not the same. Remember my fucking name. All of my bands, make you dance though. Cause we are not the same. That's why you got me geeking. I'm chilling for the weekend, it's you.